What's up, family? This is Keenan with Black Gay Table Talk, bringing you another episode. Today, we are welcoming Armani Walton, influencer beyond influencer, okay? Armani, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you? Nice to finally meet you.
Yes, you too. Thank you for coming on the show. We're happy to have you.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Happy to give my perspectives, my thoughts. I've been ready for this all week.
All right, now. All right, and you got your coffee too? Check. So, for the very few people who don't know you, I'll say the few people, the very few people who don't know you, who is Armani?
Armani is an American gay influencer, content creator, print model, brand ambassador, urban fashion connoisseur, party boy, outgoing. I do hostings for different nightclub events in Atlanta and book several places. So just hardworking at this point, making it work and doing it with influence.
All right, now, doing it with influence. I love that. So, how did you begin this journey? Like, what made you want to tap into social media and the social, realm of reality?
Yeah, so originally starting off social media around college time, that's when I had my first brand ambassador deal with Fashion Nova. So it
Yeah.
started there. I just decided to be more into the lane that I'm already in, the LGBTQ community.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, getting that experience, doing that, branching off, networking, working with different people, and that's how I've gotten here so far. So
Mm-hmm.
the deals kind of transformed Fashion Nova Express, Rockstar Denim to now with underwear brands for the LGBTQ community, different hostings I do, events. So it all just kind of branched off into more of that lane, something more relatable, something that I have experience with. So that's how
Got it.
it's today.
So, okay, so you always kind of had it in you to want to, be that influence and tap into the community, right?
Yes, and to also inspire young guys because when I was coming up in the game, there was really nobody that I really looked up to in our community per se of what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Tap into that lane
I
and
got you.
elevate with it and take it to another level. So that's what I've been doing so far.
I
It's been
got you. That's cool. And I love that we're having a moment right now. Like we are having a moment. In my day, there wasn't really anybody to look up to. Well, I say in my day like we are. We're not old, okay?
right.
But but representation matters, and we did for the longest we didn't have it. So thanks to social media, like, there are the bads that come with it, but the good is we're starting to get that representation. We're starting to be able to have that relating to those individuals who are brave enough to step into the limelight. So
Exactly.
I love that.
Thank you. Thank you. And I love what you're doing too, giving us the platform to express ourselves and give our perspectives. It's really dope because, in the
Mhm.
media, you really see one sided of what they portray a gay black male to be.
Mhm.
So much
Mhm.
that, we basically run the industry and you only get to see maybe one or two parts of it. And we really have taken this somewhere else. We're
Speak
right.
it. Speak it. That's true. That is true.
Up.
So what was it? Okay, when you got your first ambassador deal, what was that like? Like, was it, I knew this was gonna happen, or was it, wow, I can't believe this is happening. I'm excited.
It was kind of shocking at first because, and that's why I tell people all the time, you never know who's watching you on social media. Be cautious what you do, find your niche. Because at the time, I was doing none of the things I was doing now. I was just strictly posting like my clothes and stuff and my fashion. And people have always like adored my urban fashion. So when
Yeah.
fashion out to me, this was about going on 4 or 5 years ago. I was shocked. It was a different experience, but it was also fun because I'm able to make my own content, promote it how I want through Fashion Nova, them reposting me, giving me exposure. It kind of took it to another. level to other deals that I end up having after that. After that,
Yes.
so
I
that was
love that. That's cool. So, let me ask you this. Now, have you faced any challenges trying to make this lane for yourself, so to speak?
challenges. I would say the kind of content that I post now, most
Mhm.
likely brands, probably wouldn't hire for certain things relating to urban fashion, I will say, because of the type of content that I post now are more like sipping paints and of course like modeling new pics in my pictures. And I would say that's the only thing that has probably hindered, as in big urban brands most likely may not go with you because of that aspect, because you're a black gay man. But I see all the time when a straight guy does it, it's nothing. They don't mind, they don't care.
Hmm.
That's the downfall of that. You know, they kind of steer away from a lot of gay influencers because of things that we post in a certain type of way. Because we're not, of course, we're not afraid to show off our body and, be sexy and show people
Mhm.
that. But when a straight guy does it, it's completely fine. They don't even look.
Interesting. So, okay, that takes me into the next piece. So, stereotypes.
Yes.
How how have you tried to avoid them, or do you feel like sometimes playing into the stereotype can be beneficial? Just being honest.
It can, I would say both. It can be beneficial through different, depending on what you're doing on social media. I would say beneficial. You may not get a certain deal with an urban company, but of course, with our people or with a different brand, they may love it. And that's where it goes in with the underwear brands. They love gay influencers. They love because, we, of course, the body type, the frame, the boldness, they don't care.
Right.
They
Right.
they want to promote it. They want to enhance. They want to help you help them collaborate.
Yeah.
So
So,
I would that's the beneficial part. Steering away, I would say I don't necessarily steer away. I would say for me,
yeah.
I'm kind of at the point that I just don't care. Either you're gonna rock with my content, you're gonna see my influence, see what it does, see the
Mm.
the algorithm, the analytics, and see what it does. And if you don't, then I'll go to the next.
I love it. The confidence. It's the confidence for me. So, okay. Now, how did you for someone who's wanting to follow the path that you have, how have you tried to reach back and teach back, so to speak? Like, what have you done to try to uplift those that will come after you?
Uplifting those, I would say the most advice, because I get DMs all the time, like, how do I get started? How do I do this?
Mhm.
How do I do that? I would say, first, the number one thing is find your niche. Just because a person, let's just say, if I do something online, doesn't necessarily
Mhm.
mean that it will pop for you. Because
Mhm.
people, they'll try the same thing and it doesn't pop. And
Mhm.
another, two, collaborating with people, networking with people, getting them to repost you. Kind
Mhm.
of what we used to call back in the day a S for S, a shout out for shout out.
Mhm.
Get in contact with different people. And also, what people don't realize, you also have to pay to play as well. So you may have to pay a fee to somebody for them to post your stuff. So it can be
That's interesting.
a, a bigger platform than what you have. Let's just say you have a person who has 500,000 followers, right? And you maybe have 10K. You know, work a deal out, collaborate, see what they're doing. If
Mhm.
the thing is you, collaborate with them. And
Mhm.
and also another thing with people on social media, especially like Instagram per se, hashtags as well. That's the number one way because
Mhm.
they tag your posts on different, when people go to hashtags, they can see what's on there, what's at the top feed, what time you post. And
True.
also to your analytics online as well, seeing the time to post, the time to post this, when to do this, how to do this, that helps as well. So it's kind of
Right.
all like strategic little plan. They
Right. Right.
have the
It
right.
sou- It sounds like it could be a full-time job though, real talk. Like, like
It
you have to stay at it, right?
is, and I'll tell you this too. Like the content that you see that I post, I might have took 50 different clips and went to edit all 50 of them, and
Mm,
it takes days for me because I can be a
mhm,
tired. So
mhm,
it takes work rather than to just pick up your phone and record one video. You have to get that right angle, that
mhm.
right music, the right time. It is a job. It is, but it's a fun job if you enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah. In all the hats that you wear and all that you do, what do you enjoy the most?
The thing that I enjoy the most, I would say my hostings because I'm able to really interact with people who have came out to see me. I'm influence.
Mhm.
I'm able to see who are the real supporters, you know, because I feel like influence goes way past an Instagram post. There's a difference between an influencer and a content creator, and that's the big chance where I get to see the influence I have, you know, meeting people that actually do show up and support and pay their money comes in at, and being
Yeah.
able to talk to them, figure out, you know, what is it about me that you love? You know, how are you? What could I do better? You know, because I ask people that support me different for you know, like different opinions about me, my content. So that's the part that I love the most, the interaction, you know, because anybody can get online or you may meet somebody who is popping online, looks good, and when you meet them in person, the attitude is down or the persona. That's the
Yeah.
part I love the most. I love to see my people show out for me.
That's and
That's
I love
cool.
that you pointed out the difference between a content creator and an influencer. There is a difference, and I don't think it's said often enough because like you said, a lot of people do think it's just picking up the camera and, oh, let me post some content, let me do this, but there's a whole other realm to it. Well, of course, depending on you and what impacts you're trying to make. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I love that you mentioned that.
Hmm.
So that takes me over into advocacy.
Yes.
So you're an LGBTQ IA plus advocate. You know, you do that work in addition to. So how does it feel being able to impact the community that you're a part of? I know sometimes it can be different, right? Like, oh, well, I have impact here in fashion, which can be, versatile or what have you.
Mhm.
But to impact the community that I'm a part of, you know what I'm saying? Like, how does that feel for you?
It feels good. Like for instance, I'm a TGN panelist.
Hmm.
TGN stands for the Gentlemen's Network, and I'm a panelist. Actually their youngest panelist. I'm 27. So the advocacy work comes in with that being able. What we do is we go around. We're actually going to start a tour starting this summer, but
Hmm.
locally in Atlanta, we have these panel discussions that discuss different topics in the gay community, and we have people come out and we give our perspectives. We promote different things with LGBTQ rights and advocacy. So that feels really good to know that I'm stepping out of my element other than some social media stuff
Hmm.
to inspire and give informative information that will help most people in our community with their lifestyle. Because a lot of people still, even guys older than me, they still don't know how to really navigate and what
Hmm.
not to do. So that really, that really inspires me as well to be able to have a different influence.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. So, what was your um what was your approach to making sure, because obviously with each audience that you influence, there might be those tweaks you may have to make sure you're appealing directly to them.
Uh-huh.
So what approach would you say works best for you with reaching our community?
Reaching our community. So I do that. I'm gonna tell you this. I do it in different ways, and it all
Okay.
We're gonna start with brand ambassadoring, club hostings, being a teaching and panelist, and also, which in the Black gay community, we could be very sexual and provocative. So I do
Okay.
different ways that ties into one as a marketable person. So I'm able to reach four different audience, I would say. All in
Yeah.
I've kind of done it in a very strategic way, in a respectful way as well, where
Okay.
even though they, let's just say, they may see me nude online, or they may see me do a panel, they may see me modeling something or a hosting gig, and it's all the same. I don't get treated any differently. It just goes all in the same umbrella for me. I've been able to do that successfully. So
That's
four different audiences and have them come together. And I feel like that's important in the Black gay community. You know, it all
yeah.
hand in hand.
Yeah. That's cool. I love that. And of course, yes, things can be sexual over not over we we enjoy the art of sex, right? So, but now there's a whole other piece to that too though. So,
Mhm.
yes, we can be sexualized and sex is prevalent,
Right.
but how are you using your platform to promote safer sex and responsibility in having those conversations before it even gets there?
Yes, and I do that quite well. What I do, I'm partnered with Prep Squad DC, and also partnered with an Emory study that I promote as well. So what we do is, and it, like I said, it all works hand in hand because I'm able to promote safe sex with PrEP and PEP, which those who don't know who that is, PrEP is a pill that you take once a day that prevents the transmission of you contracting HIV. Now also PEP is a pill that you take 72 hours after possible sexual exposure, and it kills the infection of chlamydia, syphilis, gonorrhea. So when I am promoting, let's just say, something very sexual or sexy, that goes in hand with the two people that I work with that to promote safer sex, because I'm all about promoting, because I believe, in life, the best sex is safe sex. And with that being said, that just all kind of goes. It's like, okay, you may see me new here doing this, or like promoting OnlyFans, and also I'm promoting safe sex. So that's how I can put that together, all in the same message, and
Yeah,
out with that too as well.
I love that. I love that, and that's responsible on you too. I mean, I like that. You're doing what you're doing, but you're tying it back to bigger purposes. You know what I'm saying? So at a certain point in anything that we do, when we can realize that it's bigger than just us or bigger than just what we envision or dream, that's when the magic starts to happen.
Exactly.
I
Ex-
love that.
Another
Oh,
that I think that in our community, the Black gay community, I will say,
hmm
you have a lot of people who, they try to hide, or, try to be, keep their sexual life at a discretion. And my thing is, nothing wrong with having these talks and these conversations. It's part of life. You know,
hmm yeah,
my social media, it definitely helps promote that. Be out and open about what you like to do. There's nothing wrong with that, because, sex is part of life. We're gonna do it. Why not, why be silent about it? Let's be bold about it. Let's get into it. Let's be comfortable. Let's make it fun, enjoyable. We're grown. Well, most of us, we're grown.
right.
So, you know.
I like that. Okay. You mentioned having these different hats, or you may be seen with this type of content online and, et cetera, et cetera. So, well, I know you said you don't give a damn. You're starting to not give a damn, but to a certain extent, right? You have to kind of take time to dispel some of the misconceptions, right? So, are there any misconceptions that you'd like to dispel now?
Yes, I would say, as a content creator slash OnlyFans creator, I will say people have to realize there's a big misconception with that because people always just look at you as, you're just explicit, you're this, or promiscuous. When it's the total opposite. That's just another form of a job that you like. You like to show off your body. It's art. That's how I look at it, honestly. When I post
Mhm.
content, it's art. So that's a big misconception I feel like that goes around, or a misconception of, with dating somebody who posts certain content like that. Truth.
Mhm.
Oh, people always think, well, is it hard to find love in dating and this and that? When no, it's quite easier.
Really? I've
It's
heard the opposite. Explain.
I mean, my dating life has always been like fun, but as
Mhm.
I start doing certain content, you get access with certain individuals.
Okay.
Perspective. You're not so put into a box of being a good boy. And a lot of people feel like sometimes when if you play this role as a good boy, it just goes hand in hand when it's the total opposite in the reality. You know, People will bash and talk about certain content creators that do certain things in our community when, truth be told, with the receipts and evidence, they love them. They live for it. It's intriguing.
You know what? I have to give you your flowers. That is true. The bad boy persona does get it gets more attention, right?
Yes.
Just being real. So, okay. Okay, that's fair. So, is it fair to say you recognize that and you use that to your advantage?
Sometimes, because most of the time I'm still myself, you know,
Uh-huh.
and I'm a different type of guy. I'm very raw. I'm very wild. I'm not for everybody. I will say that number one, but it does kind of play to an advantage. Guys, I will say what they don't realize all the time. It's not always how you look; it's your confidence, and I tell everybody that. It's all about your confidence, how you persuade yourself, how you promote yourself, and you don't have to
Mhm.
downplay yourself either. A lot of guys do that, and I don't understand why. Don't downplay yourself. Be who you are. You know
Mhm.
that may be what you show online, and if they rock with you, they rock with you. If they don't, kick bricks.
What else can you say behind
Right.
that? So, for I guess, all right, for you, it hasn't been hard dating and wearing these hats that you wear and being so public. How do you balance keeping some things private? Because at some point, for your own peace of mind, you do have to keep some things private, or you have to pull back and not share this, not share that. How do you go through the process of pulling out those things that you don't want to be public?
Right. So that's a great question. So one thing I do for sure, because the way I move and people knowing me, and when it comes to a guy, I like a discreet guy. I like a low.
Hmm.
What I mean by that is somebody who's not messy running their mouth.
Okay. Okay.
A lot of time I like older men because I don't have to necessarily worry about certain things that I want to keep private getting out. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That plays a big hand for me. Picking the right guy that's gonna, just be grown and mature. Because, like you said,
Mhm.
everything's not for the public. So, or another thing, I never post people that I actually date on my social media. I like to keep that as private as possible. You know,
Really? Well, how will we know who he is? We gotta find out at some point who he is.
and that's where it goes. Some things you keep private. Like I will, because certain guys that I date, like I might be out and open and bold and talk about everything and post certain things. A guy may be totally different. He may not be comfortable with doing that on his platform or being necessarily seen on mine.
Mhm.
I feel like that's one thing I like to keep private, posting who I'm actually dating or the several people that I date.
Mhm.
So that's like a
Y
I'm like, okay, that part would necessarily be off limits. Now, would I be mind doing that in the future if he wants me to post? Then yes, I would compromise. So so that's the part.
Okay.
kind of just out of my business on that aspect. Now, if you see me out with somebody, then hey, you can assume, you can think, whatever. But on social media, it's just kind of, even though I show so much in my life, that part I like to keep, you know, protect the privacy.
Got it. Got it. So would you be able to date someone else who does what you do then?
You know what? I could and could not because
Okay.
the way my life is, I'm already busy enough, right? Doing
Okay.
holding seven different hats. So I kind of would need somebody who will understand that, but their life isn't so busy. Because if my life is so busy and your life is so busy, how would we ever really realistically make this work?
Okay.
Work. So I could say
Oh,
the work. I'm open to that. I've never, and of course, I've had guys that do what I do, like try to holler at me, talk to me. But I'm just thinking, how would that really go hand in hand? Because sometimes, when you're the same type as somebody else, I feel like it doesn't really work. I feel like with me per se, opposites attract. I like a guy that is the opposite of me.
okay.
You know, do different things, be more. Some things. Yes, I want, like, for instance, I want somebody who likes to travel, experience. Bold, but still kind of the opposite. It's kind of like for instance, I don't want to, since I'm a bottom, you're another bottom. It's got to be an opposite, right?
It does make sense. And sometimes you do need the opposite. Our money 5 years from now.
hmm
Where do you see yourself? What do you see yourself accomplishing and having or
Five
doing?
years now, where I see myself accomplishing work wise, I definitely see myself running a business, rather
Okay.
that's my own underwear line, rather that's my own clothing line. I definitely see myself having a prominent, substantial, high paying job in the LGBTQ community, rather
Mm-hmm.
advocacy, influencer work, as in not to the type of influencer work I do now, but on a bigger platform, influencing advocacy, discussing problems like a show, helping guys out. I definitely see myself doing something like that in 5 years, business wise.
Got it. What about on a personal note?
Personal level, in 5 years, because let's just say I'll be what, 27 now? I'll be 32 years old in 5 years. So
Mm-hmm.
personal wise, I definitely see myself married in my 30s. Because right now in my 20s, I feel like I can just play all day.
I mean, you can. There's no rush in it, right?
Right, it's no rush. I definitely feel like, in 5 years, it's definitely time to settle down, find someone who's on the same level with me on that scale, want to settle down, have a family, marriage, of course. I definitely want
Mhm.
kids. I have to find the right surrogate. So that's
Yeah,
on a personal level, being really serious with somebody.
got it.
Mm.
At a certain point, right, you will have accomplished these things. At
Right.
what point will you say to yourself, you know what? I've done it. I've done it. I've done it all. I've done it enough, or I've done what I set out to do. When do you think that will happen, or what do you think will be that thing that makes you realize, okay, I'm good. I've done what I came here to do.
Oh, that is a great question because, and like I say this all the time to people, in this type of game industry that you're in, I feel like with certain things that I do, you don't get in to stay in. The thing is to get in to get out, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like when I'll necessarily be done is when I've reached a certain height. Like, and that could be a bigger opportunity for me. Rather that could be
Mm-hmm.
just doing something major, rather that's a movie, rather that's something where I wouldn't have to do what I do now with certain things that I show on social media.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I know for sure I'll be done. And it's good things and bad things about certain things that you do, rather promoting like sexual content. So when I feel like I'll be done, most likely I'm gonna say my early. I did have a set time for myself as well. I said, when I turn 30 years old is when there will definitely be a shift, a change in certain
Mhm,
career hats that I hold.
mhm,
By that time, if I keep doing things the way I'm doing right and strategically, that will
mhm.
be time to get out. You know.
I think that's important too, like having that exit strategy because again, it's not guaranteed the longevity piece of it. So having that plan, having that strategy to come in, attack what you need to attack, but then also having that graceful transition and not even an exit, but that transition to the next phase or to the next thing. Let me ask you, what do you have coming up here soon that we should be paying attention to?
Yes. Okay. I have a lot of things coming up. So first, with my gigs. You might as well say I'm going on another tour again. So
Mhm.
the first thing we have coming up is actually on, is it March? Yeah, March 9th. We're having an LGBTQ concert and festival here in Atlanta, Georgia. I'll be a special guest there. Then next month, I kick off in Dallas, Texas for a sip and paint show that I do.
Mhm.
We're sponsored by Kirkwood Enterprises. And then April will be in North Carolina. So April 2024, I'll be in North Carolina. Then another big hosting I have is Pridechella in Miami in May. So
Got it.
I'll be in Miami, Florida for a total of 4 days for that event as well, Memorial Day weekend. And then the big thing that I'm doing, I got booked for to be a special guest in London for London Black Pride. So
All right.
June, the end of June. Thank you. At the end of June.
Yeah,
So that's coming up. So I'm just on a roll right now. Just every
that's cool.
somewhere for the next 4 months.
Yes, take this in and enjoy it. Sometimes when we're giving so much of ourselves out and we're being so many different things to so many different people, we forget to take in and really relish in that moment. Like, damn, this is my moment. Like,
Yeah.
I'm doing this. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I feel
So make sure you,
like, wow, really? London?
yeah,
They want to see
yeah, that's
them.
cool.
And that's where influence comes in, being consistent and learning your niche. I never would have thought promoters in London would be looking at me like, oh, we got to book him. We got to fly him out here. We need him.
Yeah.
Just come. Like, amazing. I'm like, well,
That is amazing.
little.
That is amazing. I love that. I love that. Okay, so where can viewers go to get more information about you and your upcoming events?
Yes. So, of course, you want to know everything as of what's recently going on with me in my life and different things I'm doing, projects, events. My Instagram at Armani Walton, Twitter Armani J Walton, and of course, certain facts, different facts about my upbringing and different things I've done. Of course, they can just Google my name and it comes right up.
All right. So actually, with your upbringing, and I want to go back a little bit.
Okay.
With your upbringing, um, let's say 10-year-old Armani,
Hmm.
did you see yourself here today?
Absolutely not. I remember 10-year-old Armani was a down low little kid, scared, stuck, didn't know who he was, and would just fantasize over R&B singers. No, I never thought doing what I was doing now. I'll tell you this though. I didn't know what I was gonna do, but I always knew I was gonna be a star in some type of way. I
Okay,
always knew, always felt it at a young age, 10 years old. I knew I was gonna be something, but just didn't know exactly which direction. Because of course, at 10 years old, you're just a baby. You don't know what's what. You just
true.
I'm watching videos of Usher and Michael Jackson thinking that's gonna be me. I don't know how it's gonna be, but it's gonna be me. So, but no, never thought
That's
I'd
cool.
be able to really do what I do now. Because at one point in time, that wasn't my reality at all growing up.
Mhm.
Growing up was so different from me being really grown and exploring myself and desires and wants within an industry. So, Never saw this coming. It was a totally
Got it. So, how did you come to terms with your sexuality? Like when, I guess you decided to come out and be open about it. How did you come to terms with it?
yeah. So and that's another interesting question. So of course, all my life from a young age, I always knew I had a liking to men, always.
Okay.
And for me, like I only love older men. I love older men. So
Okay.
I always knew I had a certain liking towards men. I never felt for women ever. Never. And I honestly do feel like I was born this way. This wasn't a choice for me. I always had these feelings.
Same. Same.
Growing up through school and high school specifically, the day after I graduated high school, Obama,
Mhm.
when they legalized gay marriage, was the day that I decided to come out online. And I had a come out story, and it went viral at the time on Twitter. But think this was like 10 years ago. I didn't think,
Mhm.
of course, you probably wouldn't see it now unless you Googled me and it came up. But that was the day I realized, okay, I'm ready to live in my truth fully. I don't care what nobody thinks.
Mhm.
Do me, I'm going to go with it. I'm scared. I'm scared because at the time, I had a lot of straight friends.
Mhm.
So, of course, I'm scared, like, what they going to think of me? What people going to say, as in family as well. Like, oh, you know, and that day, I just had the courage and just came out with it and posted what I was, which was a gay man.
Really?
Yeah.
How did people were you surprised at how people responded?
I'm gonna tell you like this. Some people I was surprised, and some people I wasn't.
Okay.
And when I say that as a, majority of my straight friends, of course, after that, they wasn't rocking with me. But then again, on the flip side, some of them actually come to find out they were DL themselves. They was.
That part. Right. Right.
So, but of course, like from women, it was expected. I knew they would embrace me more than my male friends.
Mhm.
I knew it would be way easier, because of course, society they accept, you know, a woman being gay first before a black gay man.
That part. So that's a whole other conversation that because truthfully speaking, it is accepted
Hmm.
easier. It's easy for some reason it's easier for people to accept than accepting two black gay men.
Exactly, and it's always promoted through the music, the culture. Like the rapper said, "My girl got a girlfriend." It's always been
True.
big
It's been
out,
the fantasy.
but let a black
Yeah.
man and I'm gonna say at the time because it's different now. Now I will say we have kind of paved the way for the younger generation to be able to
Mhm.
go to high school and be openly gay. Because when I was
True.
going 10, 12 years ago, it wasn't like that. No,
Mm-mm.
at
At
all.
all.
I would say people like myself and different influencers and creators, we have created a lane, even like Saucy Santana, Lil Nas, they have created where a black gay little boy can be in middle school, high school, and live his truth and not be scared anymore and not be bullied.
True.
And
True.
no, they know how to fight too. So
Mm.
some of them or bully them for their sexuality. It ain't the same. It's the other way around.
True. I do agree. And I was having a conversation just yesterday. Like, believe it or not, all of us have played some part in this younger generation's ability to be as open and live as loud as they are, even just from your coming out story. Your coming out story, like you said, you found out that you had a couple of friends that were DL. There's a little, even just a little bit of influence or motivation or inspiration that we give each individually. And a lot of times we don't even realize it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And it's everywhere now. And like I said earlier, we run the industry. You got to think hair, makeup, choreography, fashion, urban fashion. When it comes to fashion, period, What a lot of guys don't realize, straight guys that call themselves, I guess, homophobic,
Mhm.
the designer clothes that you're wearing were designed by a gay man for a gay man.
Or, and I'll just take it a step further just to put it out there. You're looking at your girl, she's beautiful, right? Her hair is laid, her nails are on point, her fit is good. Somewhere in there is a is a gay man. Need to put this together for you, boo. Here you go.
Right, right, right.
So
Same.
there's definitely always been that influence, but we've been pushed to the back to, support, but not necessarily be out front, you know?
Right.
So that's why I said I'm happy we're having this moment we're having now.
Yes, yes, because the people need to know, and yeah, another thing too, when it comes to that, with women as well, you know, um, a lot of gay men, I feel like when it comes to certain industries that, of course, women are obsessed with hair and makeup, we need more promotion on the stylists, the makeup artists. They should be way further than what they are instead of being in the background of the celebrity they're styling or doing makeup and hair for. You are
Yeah,
why she looks good. Because without you, she wouldn't look like that. Now,
she wouldn't look like that. I love it. It's real. That is so real. It's real.
need us. The world does.
True. True. So, are there any lasting words, any tips that you'd like to give, or any suggestions that you'd like to give to our viewers?
Yes, the viewers, I would say always be yourself, remain yourself, don't be a follower, go with what you want. We only live once, so don't be scared to do anything that you don't want to do or do want to do. Just live life and love.
Mm, live life and love. All right. Well, I enjoyed having you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you coming on the show. Family, if you've not already, make sure you follow Armani Walton. Um, he, as you can see, he's so much more than just what we get to see often. So, again, thank you for the time that you've given us. Thank you for the insight that you've given us into how you basically market yourself and how you look to impact the world around us. And we are impacting the world. I want you to know that.
Thank you. Yes, we are. And thank you too for the opportunity. I think it's great that, we can collaborate and have these discussions and talks and be able to really bring more awareness to our community,
Yes.
able to, because there are still some, younger black gay guys that still have questions that they can't ask anybody. And when they look at this platform like this and be able to feel comfortable and feel like they can relate, you know,
Yeah.
it's really important.
This is true. This is true. We thank you, and you are making a difference. So
Thank you.
we will be there to watch you on this journey, and hopefully you decide to come back and see us again. Okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. I will.
All right. All right, family. Our money, Walton. We thank you.